Alright, section 14, brickwork and stonework. Ordering bricks, mortar tools, brick bonding, corners, end junctions, moisture barriers, laying the bricks, brick joints, repointing, stonework, wall repairs, chimney, fireplaces, paving. Ordering bricks, the right brick for the job. Before planning any brickwork, consider the condition and finish for a structure will be subject to use. Bricks for the interior application, for example, the different characteristics used for the outdoors. Similar outdoor bricks differ than used in the modern climates are not suitable for jobs involving exposure to sub-zero temperatures. Bricks are various size and texture and color. Three grades of building: common brick are the SW severe weather, MW medium weather, NW no weathering. Severe weathering bricks have the high degree of resistance, frost action, retain wall, foundation, patios, other structures where bricks contact ground call for severe weather grade. Medium weather bricks are for use in temperatures likely to drop below zero. They are moderate degree of resistant frost action, can be used to expose faces of walls above ground. Non-weathering bricks are intended interior walls that are not exposed to weather. When buying bricks, check to be sure that the uniform, straight, hard, poorly burned bricks are subject to crumbling. The two bricks, when struck together, should be produce ringing sound, indicating that of the good quality. Facing bricks are also called face bricks, made especially for the use of finished wall surfaces with exposed to the weather. These bricks should have the good quality weathering qualities available to various colors, sizes, and shape textures. Facing bricks, usually sharp edged square corners. Colors include many such as reds, plus yellows, browns, even purple and black. You can obtain facing bricks with enough round and smooth surfaces. Sometimes are even enamel. There are two grades of facing bricks: severe weather, medium weather. Fire bricks are made of clay, compatible with withstanding extreme high temperatures. Domestically, they are used in fireplaces, fireplace boxes, and barbecue pits. Mortar used in laying fire bricks must also contain fire clay. Reclaimed bricks can often provide antique decorative effect. They may be used to match the bricks for the existing structure. Often they can be purchased from the brickyard, although most of the reliable source from a demolition contractor. When working with reclaimed bricks, examine each one before laying cracks or other defects. How many do you need? Before planning, it is essential to know the size of the brick you use, depending on the size of the local brickyard stock. Building bricks, however, are usually 2.5 and 2.25 inches high and 3.75 inches wide and 8 inches long. To estimate the number of the bricks walls, first determine the wall total square foot. Next, calculate square foot of the doors, windows. Deduct the door window area from the total area. The result of the area of the cover of the bricks, figure 616 bricks per figure 6.16 bricks per square foot. Be sure to allow extra bricks, breakage, and waste. To allow the 1/2 inch mortar joint between the bricks and the nominal working brick dimension, 2 3/4, 4 1/4, and 8 1/2 inches. For example, the walls with 17 feet tall and 11 feet long. Divide the length in inches. Nominal brick length of 8 1/2 inches divided by the height of the nominal brick height of 2 3/4 inches. You would need 24 bricks laid end to end for each course of layer that would be 48 courses high. Would require 1,152 bricks to be built. Composition mortar. Mortar consists of the binder, cement, lime, both the aggregated sand and water proportions of volume. Usually 1 part binder, 3 parts sand. Usually assured of the quality of Portland cement approved of the ASTM, American Site Testing Materials, is printed on the bag. The sand must be clean, free of clay, shale, the vegetable material. Test it and squeeze with a handful. Should be fall apart when the fingers are open, and it should not stain or swirl with the hand. Do not use sea sand. It contains salt that causes mortar to redampen and discolor. Water using mixing mortar must be clean. Floating dust-formed material with water will produce inferior mortar. Never use salt water. Selecting a mixing mortar. The appropriate bricklayer uses a dry mixed mortar with a masonry cement mortar depending on the size of the job. The garden hoe, the mixed mortar with a small batches of the mortar box, a clean metal wheelbarrow, adding enough water to make smooth and plastic mix enough to use sure within an hour or an hour and a half. The mortar is properly consistent with the slide readily for the trowel will be stiff enough to keep the shape, not sag when piled on the trowel. All use of French cement products. Cement deteriorates with the age. There's no point in saving it from one year to another. For a small project require no more than 1 cubic foot of mortar by dry mix brick mortar. This contains all necessary ingredients except water and it's easiest mortar to mix. It's, however, the most expensive. For a large job, the less expensive of the masonry cement mortar, make it 3 units of sand, 1 unit of masonry cement mortar cement, which also contains correct amount of lime, mixing until every grain of sand is completely covered. Add a little water at a time. Mixture until mixture is uniform color and smooth in texture. Cement lime mortar requires user to mix Portland cement, lime, sand, and water. It's a little cheaper than masonry cement mortar is used for the large projects, special jobs such as laying sills, hydrated lime, easier than using quick lime. Dry the mixture, but slake. Mix with the water, quick lime first. Mix cement like solid cement, lime, mortar. Mix sand and cement thoroughly. Add lime, mixing completely again. Add water. Add water little by little and mixing until you get a smooth mortar uniform color. Mortar coloring such as sold as powder and paste may be used in concealed emphasis joints up to 10% of weight may be added to cement. Quick lime adding color after lime has been selected at least 24 hours. The mixing thoroughly strained through the cohesive sieve before adding it to the sand with the masonry cement. Blending coloring powder thoroughly with the dry masonry cement and sand. Make a sample batch and let it set before doing the job. Grout is a thin mixture of the Portland cement, lime, and sand water poured within the places of the regular mortar. Would be difficult and impossible to apply using grout sparingly. Water weakens cement. Freezing weather. Laying bricks in sub-zero temperatures is a professional job. Severe cold weathers, mortars cause severe cracking. Emergency repair jobs keep bricks, sand, cement warm until under 10 like tarpaulin. Use only heat under the tarp to keep the moisture temperature up. Use the warm water when mixing the mortar. Cover the finished job with the tarp if possible. Keep it warm until mortar sets. Tools, the basic kit. The addition of the tool pictures you need with a 4-foot spirit level, the metal wheelbarrow, the mason line, either line, pins, blocks, holding line, 50-foot measuring tape, a garden hoe, a flat shovel, safety glasses as a wily precaution against flying chips that may be the cutting of bricks and cleaning out of the old motor joints. If the project requires use a scaffold, you can rent one. Improvise using ladders, planking with scaffolding. Be sure that the planks are free, large knots, and other defects. Pre-test planking by suspending a foot or so above the ground level. Have the 2 adults stand in the center. Always have the same side of the planking facing up, marking top side you'll know. Specialty tools, you probably have to buy some of the tools shown. Bear in mind that the better choice, better purchase quality tools are so-called bargains. It would stand up to rough use bricklet trowel to lay mortar with the brick joints and tapping bricks into place. Trip and cut bricks. Bricklayer's hammer to cut bricks. 3 heavy-duty 2.5-pound hammer to remove the damaged bricks, chips, mortar, and cut bricks. 4 bricklayers 4-inch chisel to cut bricks. Split stone chip mortar remove damaged bricks. 5 cape chisel with a 1 3/8 of an inch blade. Clean out mortar joints from repointing. 6 a square brick joiner to shape and smooth mortar joiners. Tools you can make: a story pole or gauge rod. Sure the bricks are rising evenly and make the length of the 1x2 equal enough the height of the wall being built. Use a saw to make the cutting. Mark the height of each course, 2 3/4 inches. The height of the brick plus the mortar and the bed. Slope of the batter gauge and check the batter and slope of the walls and chimneys. Make sure 1.5 dies dictated with the job. 3 a hawk to hold some of the amount of the mortar from pointing small mortar batching jobs. Make sure that the total 1-foot square using a 3/8 of an inch marine plywood for strength and lightness. Handle is screwed on using a piece of old broom handle, 1.5-inch dowel, 6 inches long. A spot board to hold the received mortar. Make the 1 3/8 of an inch marine plywood, 1/4 inch tempered hardboard, 3 foot. Cleats. Cleats or support can be 1x3, 2x2, 2x4s, large builder square for checking quarters, keeping the measuring in the ratio 3, 4, 5, using a 1x2, making it 18, 24 by 30 inches. Alright, using a trowel. Handle troweling properly with a key to laying bricks correctly with quickly strung, and even if it requires the mortar properly be placed between the bricks or the laid with the only carefully attention trowel techniques will make possible. If you're laying bricks for the first time, take the trouble to build with a small practice wall with actually undertaking the major project to help develop the track neck of handling the trowel properly. This preliminary step is not expensive since the practice of the bricks can be used again if the mortar is cleaned off them within 2 hours. Study the technique shown in the accompanying little photograph. Practice sequence of the scooping up and laying mortar should become smooth, and the operation will be done automatically. Some beginners will find that they are able to work more comfortably, efficiently, if they use smaller and lighter point trowels instead of standard size brick trowel placing and trimming the mortar. Page 455. Although the edge of the trowel is used for the cut of the bricks, a beginner is likely to find them difficult to manage if the safer use of the trowel, only placing the trimming in the mortar for the cleaning of the cut off the bricks as served the bricklayer's chisel. Use the trowel handle to tap the brick gently into place for the mortar bed. Use the edge of the trowel to form a brickwork joint. Using a bricklayer chisel. Before cutting bricks, try to determine how many half bricks you will need so that they can be cut in batches. They also have to give you practice tests. Each bricks to cut and tapping with a hammer striking against another brick. You should hear a clear ringing tone indicating that the brick is good, but the resulting sound is dull. The brick is likely to crumble when it is cut. Use the chisel with a standard hammer, heavy-duty hammer with a 2.5-pound head works best. Place the chisel blade on the cutting points of the bricks and tilt the handle slightly toward the waist end of the brick and strike sharply. Generally, the sharper the blow, the cleaner the cut. Wear safety glasses when doing this work. Using a line to lay the course of the bricks and plums the line. Use the line block. Use pin and nails. After the first course is completed, build up the leads and several of the courses to lead the corner each course successfully short of square level with the exact amount of the mortar between the mortar joints. The easiest way to find the line in the plastic line is block is a fit line and the groove to draw it in the taut is for the tension. Over the line will hold the plastic block placed. To use the line without block, such strict flat bladed pins or drive nails and motor pins around the corner of the course of the building to be laid. Actual detached line points will be flush up or side out at the edge of the corner. The bricks are usually will lay between them and keep the line taut. For a long wall, lay up leads the intermediate points and support line. Checking a spirit level, 4-foot level to check the brickwork 4 ways before the mortar sets. The vertical, horizontal bubbles will tell you whether to work your level in the direction. Using either level as a straight edge, check with both diagonals in the position bubble that have no significance. Hold level diagonally across the face of the wall. See if there's any gaps between the level and the walls. If the gap, the curve of the wall is out of true, correct this before gently tapping by gently tapping the bricks back into the line against the level. Vertical, horizontal irregularities may also be corrected by gently tapping level with your trowel handle. Keep the bottom of the level clean. Even small dab of mortar on the surface will make it inaccurate. Types of bond. The bond is a pattern formed in the course of the brick wall. Causes the lead on each of the other with the vertical joint curves. One course never fall with the direction above the vertical line. The course below with the must bond. However, the vertical joints alternate course should coincide exactly. In all bonds, brick lays end of the wall are called stretchers. These are likewise crosswise called headers. Although the interlocking pattern creates an interesting decorative effect, the main reason of bonding is to produce a strong wall. Staggered vertical joints cause the downward dead low pressure of the bricks themselves, such as composition of roof and floor joists, to spread over the entire wall. The stronger the wall is, gives the better the support of these components. See how the particular bond matches surroundings must be. The smallest test smallest test of wall with a mortar such that the test structure will also show the need with the bats enclosure. Every bond to achieve staggered vertical joints. Bat is a partial brick. Up closure is the last brick blade in the course, and it's either a whole or a partial brick. Corner ends and joins shows running bond. Corner stopped end junction wall. English bond corner junction with stoped end shows running bond, American bond, English garden wall bond, Flemish bond, Dutch English cross bond, Flemish bond, 1/4 inch batch, junction stopped in. Moisture of the air. Brick cavity wall consists of two parallel terriers of the brick separated with a 2-inch airspace joined by the metal wall ties using face brick for the outer wall. The non-weathering brick, page 446, hollow tile concrete block inner wall cavity wall ties to corrosion-resistant metal, usually steel, within 3/16 of an inch diameter. Rectangular of Z shape, build up the inner and outer ties of the cavity wall. Simultaneously, the ties can be placed with the parallel horizontal motor joints of the tile with the concrete block inner wall, or just vertical spacing of the ties matching with the outer brick wall. Brick veneer wall is made of laying of the single tire brick outer wall over the frame wall with a 1-inch airspace that's separated with the two walls with 7 metal ties connecting them. Cover the frame with a heavy white waterproof building paper. Veneer wall ties to the 6-inch corrugated metal strip. The copper is the best metal for the purpose of the nail the ties of the frame wall about with 3 inches each for the tie with embedded with the horizontal mortar joints. As bricks are laid, use a nail the same metal at all ties. The brick veneer wall is laid and sealed with a space with nailing and the caulking. Brick veneer moldings around all openings. Brick veneer will, added with existing frame structure, require the full foundation. This job to be done as a professional. There's still air between the two wall surfaces and the brick veneer of the cavity walls. Keep the house cooler in summer, warmer winter. Moisture penetrates the outer wall, runs down between the walls, leaving the inner wall dry. To expedite the drainage between the weep holes in the outer wall, place metal and plastic tubes 3/8 of an inch outside the diameter 2x3 apparent with the first bed of mortar under the first course of bricks on top of the termite shield. Termite infested areas, place the copper flashing over the foundation flush and inside about 1 inch beyond the outside. Bend extension slightly downward. Tubes must extend airspace to flush with the face of the wall. Slope of the outside edge downward. Mortar, other debris fall into the airspace. Brick veneer cavity wall being built with the cover weep holes will form bridges between the walls, allowing mortar to reach the penetrate of the inner wall to trap the debris and lay batten with wire loops to both ends of the wall ties. Use batten almost a wide airspace as long as the conventionally handle. When you reach the next course that contains ties, raise the batten by means of wire loops. Clean it, install ties, place the batten over them. Shows the batten wall tie, vapor barrier, sheathing studs, building paper wall tie. Moisture from the soil. Brick in a direct contact with wet surface through moisture like blotter condition persists the inside of the brick structure becoming damp and sweat. To prevent any brick structure must have the vapor barrier provided with a layer of waterproofing. Building paper polyethanol laid with thin bed mortar with a 1/4 inch thick put down vapor barrier covering width of the course complete with the bed with a 1/4 inch mortar which one end of the vapor barrier stops and other starts overlap generously. Building codes demand vapor barriers break external housing walls where gaps and cavities break veneer walls are sealed. It's advisable to use them with a brick structure. Alright, laying the bricks. Preparing and procedure. Order material for the mark out of the building over the foundation 472 with the well before the planning of the beginning of the layer of the bricks. Have enough plastic sheet with the canvas hand over the material with the protect with the work overnight or in bad weather. Place pieces of bricks convenient intervals around the job. Bucket of water nearby to clean off the tools as you use them. Mortar dry the skin so to handle too much rubber gloves are a good idea. Bricks should be damped when laid when they are thoroughly sprayed with a garden hose, especially with a hot, dry water. Damp spot boards as well. Also, to verify how many bricks cut and set out first course of the mortar foundation wall slab that will be laid. For allow 1/2 inch mortar joint from the bricks and marks position of each of the outer edge of the foundation. Mix the thick first batch of mortar. Make up no more than can use in an hour. To follow the sequence photograph, foundation should be extended with the ground level for sake of clarity. Work shown in the beginning of the surface build up. Corners and stop end first. Make sure that the vertical and level the builder square with a check for the corners. Lay ample mortar bed. Squeeze the mortar into the joints after the bricks are laid so the butter ends generous and the mortar butter head is on the side. Shovel the brick in the mortar bed. Tap it gently with a trowel handle over the level of the bed is properly with a trowel and scrape off the mortar that oozes out of the joints. To lay closer to last in brick course butter ends and put mortar ends for the bricks and will lie between. For 2 brick wide 8-inch wall Butter one end and one side of each brick inner wall. Build up both terriers simultaneously. Do not remove the brick that has been laid. If the bricks are not level or plumb or aligned, tap them gently with a mortar set. Heavy tamping might dislodge the brick, causing hollow space in the joint. If the brick is improperly laid and mortar has set, remove the brick, all the bricks above it, remove the mortar too. Put down a new mortar and lay a clean brick and bricks in it. Brush off loose mortar before it hardens. You may have to use a wire brush for stubborn spots. Garden and retaining walls. Garden walls that have sufficient strength should be at least 8 inches high. Achieve the bonds of the mortar preference foundation should be below the frost line of the wall, and the slope of the foundation will have to have the multiples of 2 3/4 inch height of the brick to perceive the building of the garden wall the same as for any of the other wall. The severe weather, medium weather bricks may be used. Set out with the first course of the bricks of the mortar line with the mortar joints to vary for the normal number of bricks to be cut. Use the dry mixed mortar with a mixed 1 part masonry cement with 3 parts sand and work with both ends over the middle. Build up the interiors simultaneously. If the wall is exceptional, build up the heads up to 8 to 10 inch interval, 8 to 10 foot intervals. Cover the top of the wall coping with the weather resulting course of the coping should be sloped to shed water. Maybe made of bricks laid on the sloped end of the inverted V with a rich mortar of the cast concrete coping with a cornice tile. A retaining wall is built basically with a garden wall must be built with its sand with the pressure earthly behind it most properly with a drain with a severe weather brick. Mixed mortar 1 part masonry cement 3 parts sand. Favor the retaining wall vertically nearly so. Foundation should be within the frost line unless the wall is on the well drained soil. The wall thickness is greatest at the base with a gradually decrease the height strength of the retaining wall. Insert the metal rods in the holes of the cord bricks, inserting the flat metal bars vertically in the mortar between the terriers, or tie the bricks to the earth with the metal rods on bars 3 to 4 feet long. Place a stagger pattern 4 to 5 feet apart with a horizontal mortar bed every 2 feet off the wall's height. Drain the moisture built up behind the wall. Install the drain pipes at least 2 inches outside of the diameter 4 to 6 feet apart of the bottom of the wall. Wise to add several additional pipes every 2 feet above the first row. The drain pipes must extend with the earth behind the wall to flush the face wall. Filled with a coarse gravel 1 foot thick within 1 foot of the top behind the walls. Add drainage strength. Increase the retaining wall made with a poured concrete face brick with the same provision should be made drainage. Brickwork joints. Pointing. The process of finishing the brickwork joints known as pointing, sometimes also called joining. Various shapes given the joints between them provide interesting, attractive, decorative effects. But principal purpose of protecting is compromise of the mortar, seal the joints against the moisture. If putting joints in the new brick or completely repointing a wall, choose any joints shown below. Whether joints for maximum protection moisture but not particularly difficult to form, regardless of which type of joints, the second of the pointing must begin before the mortar gets too hard. Ensure to undertake the mortar is still workable. Sufficient plastic is given you pressure sufficiently plastic to give you when you press the thumb in. Especially watch when weather is hot and dry because the mortar will harden faster. Start finishing the joints after you have 2 to 3 courses. Before the mortar has begun to set, it will seal the joints, prevent the penetration of moisture. Point vertical joints first and then horizontal ones. Alright, repointing. Crumbling mortar and old bricks allow the moisture to penetrate the wall. The remedy of the repointing, tucking, pointing, removing the old mortar with a depth at least of 1/2 inch, replacing it with a new waterproof mortar. If you're repointing an entire wall, you can do it in stages about 1 square yard at a time. Scaffolding is if the wall is high. Do not work on a ladder. Wear goggles and safety goggles, raking and chipping out mortar. Remove mortar bites about 1 inch long. Hold chisel sharp angle to avoid wedging in the joint. Do not hit the hard enough to chip the bricks. If repointing only parts of the wall, you will need to match the joint's existing one. The new mortar should match the composition of the old. If you don't know about how to mix old mortar, you can use dry mix containing ingredients except water. So you can mix 1 part masonry cement, 3 parts sand. Use 1 part Portland cement, 1 part hydrated lime, 6 parts sand. Mortar coloring can help the match color olding mortar. Make new parts slightly darker shade of the old. When the old mortar is wet, the new mortar will get lighter as it dries. Alright, stonework. Some kind of a natural stone that generally you would do it yourself with granite, marble, stone, slat, limestone, sandstone, bluestone. There are three classes of stonework construction: rumble, ashlar, trimmings. Rumble masonry consists of uncut stone that cannot cut with a specific shape of the style. With the stonework is used with rough masonry, as should retaining walls and foundations. Stones of this type are assembled with mortar joints. Liberal amount of the mortar must be because of the stone's irregularity of the type of construction weak compared to other stone structures. Rubbling stonework is well suited for the dry walls with no mortar used. The ashlar is a stone cut four-sided resembling brick. The surface can be smooth with a dressed and with a rough laid and regular course referred to as coarse ashlar. Laid in broken courses without regard to the continuity of the joints is called broken or ragged ranged ashlar. Trimmings also cut sidings cut on all sides. They are used for sills, linnets, moldings, ornamental purposes. Trimmings used for the stills or have been beveled tops of the shed water. Granite is hard, sparkling stone that polishes well with a non-porous, durable, expensive, and varies in texture, various coarse and very fine. Comes in red, pink, white, gray, green. When blind granite avoids stones with the knocks out like knots in wood, stones, the surface stains stones with cracks and seams. Marble is fairly hard stone, polishes well, is available to considerable range and prices, variety of colors, suitable for the keystones, window sills, exterior for such interior use of facing floor tiles, tabletops, heather stones. Slate is a dense brittle with a non-porous, easily split with elimination available to black and gray and green. Used outdoor primary for the roofing indoor would include the decorative facing heather stones and silver. Bear in mind the slate should always see flat, not at the edge. Limestone is chalky stone, varies hardened for the durability price. The color ranges from buff, cream, ivory, brown, and green. Have been chiefly with the paving walls, stepped with the rock garden. Sandstone, strongly durable. The colors vary from buff, cream, ivory to brown. It's used for sealing and coping. Soft seams and soft spots can be picked out with nail indicating poor quality. Bluestone is fine-grade fossilized clay stone using paving and veneer and unskid surface makes it suitable for stair shreds. Buying stone. Natural stone can be purchased in three finishes. Dressed, described finely dressed, supplied with the cut and requirements most expensive of the three finishes. Semi-dressed stones cut approximate size. Trimming, encroping, cold chisel, and heavy harm will be necessary. Undressed stone, cheap to finish, is simply with the chunks raw stone directly from the quarry. Artificial stone blocks and slabs closely resemble the natural stone, but have much cheaper. There are no dressing. Artificial stone is available. The variety of the color, size, finishes used for walls, exterior paving. Sometimes are made applying facing crushed stone, colored cement, plain concrete blocks. In other words, same crushed stone. Egredie used throughout the artificial stone, known as various names such as cast, precast, imitation, and reconstructed. Alright, drilling and splitting. Wear goggles, safety goggles, when cutting or splitting drilling stone. Drilling used with the carbide tip of the monster and bit with a power drill with a slower speed, with a 2-speed drill, with a use speed reducer, single-speed drill. Apply moderate pressure drill short and sharp bursts with a drill. The drill frequently to prevent overheating of the bit. For hand drilling, use star drill, smaller sledgehammer with the drill below between the blows. Withdraw frequently to clean out the holes. Splitting before a hole several inches deep with a grain line and to drive a 3-piece stone split tool called a set of plug feathers with the plug between the feathers. Some stones will require boring more than one hole. Others can be split with a hammer and chisel. Polishing and cleaning, removing stains. If you want to polish stone with a decorative purpose, shift the marble top of the slate with the hearth over the. If you do not clean, remove the stains from the stone. Follow the appropriate procedures described below. Polishing stone and slate and marble. Use the brace of wet or dry paper on the finishing. Sand over the locate with the surface of the polish over the water. The buffing of the wet on dry paper with similar circular movements. Continue sanding dust particles and mixing the water with a clean like slurry. Add a few minutes of the cleaning of the slurry. Surface will develop the sheen when surface is polished for the satisfaction. Wash off the slurry dry with a lint-free cloth. The surface can be protected with a colorless wax polish. Slate must be given a coat of polyurethane varnish. Do not use varnish marble. Varnish will turn the yellow with age and discolor the marble. Generally, polishing the difficult job is best for the professional mason who had a special equipment required. Polishing granite. With the initial surfacing with the finishing sand with a cloth with abrasive powder with the progressively fine grades buff stone with a file with its finer polishing agents such as rough powder from form slurry wash dry with lint-free cloth, finished colorless wax polish. Clean marble, granite, and bluestone, non-abrasive acid-free detergents can be used to remove grease provided with the all trace of the rinse while away the surface of the polished piece of the chasm with never used liquid detergent, marble flooring, and available to leave slippery patches of the surface to clean the surface frequently with a soft brush or the abrasive with dust. Cleaning limestone and sandstone, use fiber scrubbing brush, plenty of water, loss of energy, avoid detergent, especially if it contains alkalites with the caustic soda for the breakdown of the surface of the stone appearance and internal stone work, usually approved with providing brushing surface off, visual stone, and remove dust. Hard cleaning limestone stand. Use a fiber scrubbing brush, plenty of water, lots of energy. Avoid detergent, especially if they contain alkaline caustic soda. Break down the surface of the stone. The appearance of the internal stonework can usually improve with the brushing surface of the soft bristle brush to remove the dust. Cleaning slate. Wash with hot water, mild detergent, rinse with the polish of the promise powder with a rut stone with a dampened felt pad. Clean an artificial stone. If you use a moderate detergent, fails to clean up with the stone with a surface with a reasonably flat with a medium fine permanent powder. Bristle scrubbing brush. Be sure with plenty of the water stain. Remove the procedure. Remaining stains vary different from the stone. Marble. The usual cost of the stains spilled with liquids. If not wiped off, they can eat into the stone surface. Simply washing it will assemble them and remove such of the ingrained stains. The longer the stain is permitted to set, the more difficult the stain becomes to remove. Most stains can be bleached out. Thick homemade paste with hydrogen peroxide from the drugstore, powder wetting from a paint store. Spread paste over the stain air with a few drops of ordinarily household ammonia. Keep the paste damp and covering it with a sheet of plastic wrap. Allow the paste to stand on the surface for a few minutes. Wash it off. Rinse to the hot water. Repeat process necessary to wipe dry with a lint-free cloth. Rust stains sometimes can be washed off with ammonia paste made with equal parts of the amyl acetate acetone mixed with whitening. Whitening surface scratches can be removed. Use very fine, wet, and dry abrasive paper, water. Smoke stains can be removed with gentle scrubbing, powder permanent water. The stains are persistent. Try rubbing the cutting limited. Do not use carbon tetrachloride in any form in any of the trade. Fumes extremely dangerous. Limestone, sandstone, stone hair that has been burned with a clean, light rubbering, the medium grade abrasive paper. Deep burns generally cannot be removed. Most color stains, garden ornaments can be removed with wet scrubbing, dipping in light, hydrated lime. Be sure to wear heavy rubber gloves by doing the kind of work, and also be sure the stone lime beyond the reach of children. It can be extremely hazardous for them. Alright, settlement and shrinking. Settlement of the movement of crack with the bricks over the mortar, over the cow, over the movement over the ground beneath the building. The ground may be made of land, which flow over the field with enough time with the being allowed with a complete compacting clay and with the foundation dried until the trunk of the may be moved. The result of the flooding drain with the waterproof of the foundation may have with the deficiency that may have with the built with the frost line. Soil under the hillside of the home, but sometimes move with the downslope with the routing of the drying with the timbers made with the occasion the cover of the movement of rod with large trees made with the move of the bulge foundation. Whenever the cause of the settlement of the cracks left untamed, but usually a road with the become worse. Running cracks outside of the wall indication settlement of the trouble with the most apparent with the where the extension has been built with the garage with the garden water wall melts of the house wall with the cracks off of the developed around the door top of the sills window frame of the first thing with the do to determine whether the nap the movement is stop with the movement is with the new house with one-time clearance will not happen with against once the house is thoroughly settled. Tap the outside of the wall with the fine of the web with the movement is stopped with one of the following methods. Bridge the crack which a piece of the flat glass flatten the glass tightly with the cracked epoxy cement with the slightest movement of the shifting of the house and move the glass to break. Second tip of the bridge for the crack with the plaster with the Paris with the hardened plaster with the crack with there is any movement of handling you may have with several months before you can see the results of the either test. If your crack continues to open close is so slightly indicate with a serious settlement crack with the problem soil under footing of the foundation probably have to be shored up. Footings replaced. There are big jobs handled with the experts, although you could save money by doing your own digging. Shrinkage. The cracks could be filled to prevent further damage. Many major cracks for the mortar are caused by shrinkage, may result in the bricks able to be absorbed working too rapidly. Freshly laid mortar. One-time occurrence happens only during construction. Chipped out with a defective mortar with a repeat point of the joints, page 457. If the crack is long and deep and the curve of the bricks is rolled with the mortar joint for the difficulty of the point with the trial of the situation with the necessary with the feed of the grout into the fissure. This is first wetting when the crack use the wide adhesive tape of the board to temporarily seal the lower portion of the crack. This will keep the fresh grout in place with the place of the grout on the top of the crack. Use the funnel attached to get the tube well into the wall. Should the reach of the center of the crack after the grouting that has set about a day, remove the temporary covering in the point surface of the crack and move the wall in. Repeat process. Often necessary to fill with the crack complete with the mortar coloring with the match of the brick color with the fixing of the cracks on the brick, making the powder and similar colored brick and incorporate into the mortar. If you use such a powder, be sure to reduce the amount of sand used in the mortar. Mix amount with the equivalent to added powder. Shrinkage causes shrinkage cracks around the wall. Door frames can be caused by shrinkage expansion of the timber, not by movement over the bricks. Point over these cracks, caulking compound that will avoid such problem, flexing the slight movement between the bricks. Damaged brickwork. The brick appeared with large quantities of the moisture when it drained up with the permanence with the evaporate with the dry with the wet with the cold weather moisture with the absorb with the bricks and the freeze with the expansion of the form cause freezing with which cause the bricks to spall with the crumble with the edge of some of them such bricks should be replaced. Move mortar around the damaged bricks even one 3/8 inch shape chisel with the chip of the brick with the 4-inch brick with the blade with the chisel until it's removed with removing any of the remaining mortar to clean the cavity with a wire brush hole with the hose with the cavity. Protect your eyes with the goggles and safety goggles during the operation. Replace with the brick laying with the mortar with the horizontal structures for the cavity. Press with the new brick firmly into place. Use the point of the trowel to force the mortar around the brick to fill in the cavity completely at the top of the both ends. With after replacing the damaged brick with apply with a clear coat of clear brick and a masonry sealer to prevent further with the frost damage of brickwork. This is a good idea even if no bricks are broken. If the wall it does not look with the tracks, after patching apply with the coat with the waterproof masonry paint. Water penetration. If water penetrates the joints of the crack of the brick veneer over the cavity in the wall that cannot be kept out over the repointing, if collected at the bottom, this will be easy to either seep the way through the inner wall of the color of the damage. It will freeze, which could cause the wall could break the wall. To remember to put in the carbide tempered with the 1/2 inch power drill before the drain holes, known as weep holes, through the hot bottom of the mortar joint. Space holes are approximately 2 feet apart. Make sure they are at least 1/2 inch in diameter and slope the outside edge of the downward. Decayed stonework. Natural stones do not as rule flake as much as brickwork does, except for the softer sandstone with the limestone. The chemical impurities of the air can cause some of the sands to decay, but the type of the decay shows as flaking with the pitting of the stone surface. They can be treated with a chemical preservative available to brickstone stone dealers. When such decay is destroyed with the stone, chop out with the damaged stone with a brick with a 4-inch chisel to remove all loose debris. With the prepare with the mortar, mix with 1 part masonry cement, 3 parts sand, dampen the mold. Both of the replacement state in stone and cavities thoroughly, laying the mortar in cavity, insert the new stone. Repoint. If matching stone is not available, you can fasten them out using 1 part cement with a 2 part sand with a 5 part small crushed stone. And add mortar coloring, match at old stone, small batch of first, let them dry, then test the color match. Make a large imitation stone with an embedded piece of scraps clay, lie in the mortar with the build with the hole of the fill of the surface of the mix, whether large or small. The surface must be made with a match the surrounding stone. If they are smooth, then cover the surface with a stucco of the mortar. They are irregular, match the surface with a point of the traveler joint tools. Small damage area of the repaid epoxy base fillers that are made for concrete. The vary with a strong bonds ideal for the repairs, especially treads. They are expensive, however, the stone is protected from impurities, air with the regular scrubbing with a cold water. Do not add acid, detergents, chemicals to the water for very grimy walls. Called professional cleaner. Alright, chopping out with a decayed stone with a hammer chisel, remove all the debris to make large imitation stone, build up a hole with the clay with the tile bedded in the mortar, make surface for the imitation stone match for the surrounding stones. Repairs. Defective chimneys are often neglected because they cannot easily be seen with the neglect of the dangerous binoculars with the long lens of the reflective of the camera, enabling you with the preliminary check of the look of the lease and leaning with the brickware. A serious check should cracks, damaged caps, loose for the deteriorated finish. Anything questionable should be closed with the inspection, assuming if possible, be careful to use with a sturdy ladder breach of the roof, scale of the roof, you need to save for the meaning of the roof of the ladder, the hooks of the ridging. Chimney stacks and clothing inspection reveal the chimney stacks is leaning with the call of the professional curing the serious fault of the property with the beyond the scope of the average fault home handy with the minor defect of the crumbling point can be easily fixed and should not be neglected, can leave with a bit water penetration will damage the chimney stroke stack cleaning the crumbling mortar with a depth of at least 1/2 inch of the M3 1/8 inch chisel with 2.5 inch pound hammer, wearing goggles to protect your eyes, brush away with the mortar with the dust dampen the joints and repoint the new mortar. Page 457. It is simple as you with the dry mix more of the before you refer. You can mix your own 1 part masonry cement, 3 parts sand. Close off the damper with the fireplace confined with any soup with a maybe loosen with you work with on the part of the chimney. Many chimneys have more than one flue with the dampers will also flow. Allow dampers for all of them that should be closed. Sometimes the smoke leaking out of the chimney stack with the chinks in the mortar. This can probably indicate with the crack with the broken flue with the lining with the fire head. But this job of the professional of the chimney should not be even until the trouble had been remedied. Test of the chimney for the leak with the bill with the fire over the fireplace for the burning bricks with the added with the water with the coal. Some water that will smoke with the profusely, such as dry and damp straw with the cover of the chimney with a heavy wet cloth to force the smoke to seek some of the exit out of the normal one. Be sure the windows with the doors open and let the smoke escape from the house. Ordinarily, the smoke will be drawn harmlessly past the joints of the fluting lining, but this test will force it through the joints if there is cracks in them, and if the cracks of the joints of them of the chimney stack of the smoke will leak through these. If there are only a few small leaks, to repoint the offended brickwork joints. If there are many leaks in the chimney stack, if the large consult with a chimney expert, he can tell you whether the chimney can be repaired, whether it must be rebuilt, regardless of the number of size of the leaks. Do not use the chimney until it exists and defects are corrected. If the main part of the stack is sound, if you lose bricks, you can remove them, replace them. Remove mortar with a brown with a loose brick with a 3/8 inch cape, the chisel, the 2.5 pound hammer, the wear of the goggles, ease the brick out with taking the ground with a clean out with some all loose crumbling mortar from the hole. Goggles are important here. Dampen the brick with those surrounding the cavity of the wall with the new mortar. With the press the brick into the place and be sure to fill joints completely with the mortar. Then repoint the joints and finishing with them off with a match to the type of the joint originally used in the chimney. Flashing the defect at any point that can be even the interior water stain with the pair anywhere near the chimney. With flashing merely come the loose joint of the embedded with it should be raked out. Flashing edge should be reinserted with the joint be mortared, but flashing wood must be made with the metal has been and any deteriorated. It should be completely replaced with metal would not corrode, such as copper or aluminum. Placement should be embedded 3 inches into the brick stone mortar with a point of 6 inches above the roof line. Seam with the portion that extends out of the roof should be literally coated rough cement. When you're reinserting loose flashing, install the new one. Dry mixed mortar, mix 1 part masonry cement, 3 parts sand. Cap the top of the chimney with a cap made with a mortar slope of the rain can be run off the common trouble spot. To fill any of the cracks or holes with the cap of the mortar, you can use the dry mix and mortar with which you need the added only water with or mixed mortar made of 1 part masonry cement and 3 parts sand. If the cap is badly cracked or the motor is loosely pull away from the bricks, it should be replaced and remove the black brake layers. Chisel with a 2.5 pound hammer with a be sure to wear goggles. It is a good idea that they put the broken piece of the bucket with lower them into the ground with a rope. Do not let them bounce down off the roof. Clear all loose material with a cleanly dampen the top of the course of bricks. Be ready for the form of the new cap. Build it up with a dry mix mortar with the mortar. Then you may make yourself using 1 part masonry cement, 3 parts sand, trowels with several thick layers, mortar sloping them until so that the water will run off. For repair, removal of the crumbling mortar with the crack of the loose bricks into the fireplace with the fire hazard should be repaired as soon as possible. The removal of the mortar with the crumbling cracked joints with 1/8 of an inch cape, chisel 3/8 of an inch cape, with a 2.5 pound hammer. Dampen the joints, repoint the joints, the layer of the fire brick, repair the fire bricks, masonry cement with a contained fire mix, 1 mixed mortar, 3 parts sand, remove cracked bricks, loosen bricks, dampen the cavity surrounding bricks with the replacement fire bricks, use the fire clay mortar bricks fireplace. If the fireplace opening is large but the fluid is not drawn properly, but you may be able to calculating an additional fire brick floor over the fire chamber to add side at the black. You should have the trouble to diagnose fireplace with an expert before laying the bricks. That you can experiment that, however, putting the fire brick in on the floor without the mortar. If this causes trouble, lay the bricks in permanently with a fire clay mortar. If the expert can solve it, if the expert you can solve it finds that the fireplace is too wide, this portion is corrected by laying an additional fire break at the side of the fireplace to the deep law. Lay a course against the back. Removal. An old fireplace may not fit in the decoration scheme of the modern house. It may be to be able to repair it. Either remove it a simple job. Either removal is a simple job. If you screw the nails with a hole in the wooden mantle to the wall of the hidden with the molding, remove the molding and pry outward the mantle shelf. This it will show you the mantle is fixed to the wall, and you can remove the screws of the nails. So you can crowbar by mantle from the wall to keep the mantle from falling. Have someone support it while removing the screws of the nails when you pry it loose from the walls. Remove the brick and stone mantle, trim, clean out the mortar between the joints of a 3/8-inch cape, chisel, 2.5-inch pound hammer. Then use a crowbar to remove the bricks and stone. Fireplace opening should be bricked up and sealed off with asbestos board, and be careful not to inhale the dust, sawing, breaking asbestos. The flue of the chimney top should be completely caped and keep it off the water. Provide small vent both ends flue, preventing condensation. Alright, paving. When severe weather, brick for walk patios, driveways, dig out the area of the brick on a patio with a depth of approximately 4.25 inches. That allow for the accommodated thickness of the brick as well with a 2-inch pad of sand. Slope of the patio away from the house at 1/8, 1/4 inch per foot. The area does not adjoin the building. The highest point in the center on the level of the ground slope path. Walk slightly on the side. The form of the border with the set of the bricks on the slide edge of the trench with the 5 3/4 inch depth, 2 inches from the sand bed, 3 inch for the brick. The patio of the consent only do the joining edge of the border with the stage spread 2 inches over the sand. Roll, tap, and smooth it. Put down a layer of the heavy impregnated building paper to discourage weeds. Lay the bricks in desired pattern for the walk. For the patio, lay them in an entire paved area, starting with the border in place. Finish with the complete border with the remaining side. Spread the sand over the paved area, sleeping over the bricks and cracks is filled. Driveways. To make a brick driveway, lay the brick's edge of the 2 inch of the crushed stone with a compact being with excavating the driveway away with a depth of 5 3/4 inch, 2 inches of the bed, 3 3/4 inch for the bricks on the edge. Sand bricks on the edge of the driveway border. If you don't want to curb to dig a trench of 10-inch deep to accommodate the 2-inch bedding of the material of the bricks on the edge. To make a 4-inch curb, dig a trench 6-inch deep. This then put in 2-inch bed and then lay the bricks on the end. Do not slope the driveway more than 1 3/4 inch per foot from the cloth slope. Making the driving higher in the middle of the sloping to one side. Sweep sand over the finished surface and cracks filled with the flagstone. Silver the same kind of the bed. Maybe use the driveway, patio, walkway, driveway so it can be set in the mortar with a concrete foundation. Hard flagstones. Lay flagstone sand at 2 inches deep in the walk of the patio to keep the stone with at least 1/2 inch part with walking them down as well with the sand between them. Mix 1 part Portland cement from the 3-part sand. Use no water. Spread with the dry mixture flagstone. Fill the gaps between the stones, sweeping and walking the patio with a fine spray with a garden hose using cement mixture. Saturated. Repeat process 2 to 3 times at 15-minute intervals. Wet mortar filled to its full depth. Or Section 15, working with concrete.